What is going on, everybody? My name is Nico and welcome back to another Pokemon Sword and Shield, or just Pokemon in general video. This video is one that I have been doing pretty annually, and it is a beginner's guide to getting into competitive Pokemon, because competitive Pokemon is something that is very daunting and something that is very difficult to kind of just jump headfirst into without some prior knowledge. And I kind of like making these videos because I know every year there's going to be somebody that can benefit from watching this and wants to get into competitive but just doesn't know where exactly to start. So that is why I'm here today. I have, like I said, 2 other videos that cover this exact thing, but I kind of like to do an update video every year on it because I learn new stuff, and I've recently gotten into different formats of Pokemon. So the main format that we're going to be talking about here is VGC, but a lot of these rules do apply to other aspects of Pokemon like BDSP singles and stuff like that. So it's a very all-encompassing video, but main focus is going to be VGC. But before we get into that, if you're looking for some energy or something to help you get through your battles, play some Pokemon, shiny hunt, you know, get those extra couple hours out of your playtime, try out Dubby. It is a jitteryless energy drink that you put into your water. It comes in a powder, drop it in the water, shake it up. It's delicious, sugar-free, and it gives great energy. All the flavors are fantastic. Galaxy Grenade is easily the best. It's my favorite. It's like a watermelon, guava, lime, and it's so refreshing and it hits so good in the summertime. Highly recommend it. Use code NICO for 10% off your order. But let's get into the Pokemon stuff. So like I said, there is just so much going on in Pokemon, and it is a very daunting thing to get into for a new player. I know for the longest time, I never played competitive Pokemon. I got in Sword and Shield because it got a lot more beginner friendly to play competitive Pokemon in Sword and Shield. They added a lot of features like the mints, like the bottle caps, things like that that were able to help me create competitive Pokemon without all the extra breeding and whatnot. So a lot of the tips that I'm going to provide you here are going to be things that are kind of basic, and that is just to help you get an idea of what you need to know, and then you can proceed to go look for other guides and videos for the specifics later on. And I have tons of videos covering things like EVs, IVs, you know, different team compositions, how to build different teams, stuff like that. So if you want all that extra information, I have videos covering that, but this is kind of like an all-encompassing thing that tells you exactly what you need to know to get into it. And I like to break it down into 3 things: the basics, team building, and playing the actual game. Those 3 things are the most important to getting into competitive Pokemon. So let's start with the basics. First thing in the basics is simply understanding Pokemon, knowing exactly what you're getting into, how to play the game, different things that you're going to encounter. So these are things like type matchups, physical versus special attacks, items and those items' effects, and EVs, IVs, things of that nature. Different things that are actually impacting the state of the game. And these are things that you can learn as you play through the base game, watching different videos and things of that nature. Next thing I would say is understanding the rules of the format that you want to play. So, for example, there are a handful of different formats that are very popular in competitive Pokemon, first being Singles OU. This is something that is run not by the Pokemon Company. This is a side project that Smogon runs entirely, and they affect the rules of these single battles. It's a 6v6 format. You pick your Pokemon, you go in and you battle. This is not featured in-game. You have to do it either on Pokemon Showdown, or you can do like custom matches against other players that play the same format, and these rules are constantly changing and adapting. It's a really fun format to play. I also play it in BDSP singles. That's where I really prefer to play Singles OU. It's a very fun format to play. It's just not the official Pokemon competitive format. That is VGC, and that is the double battles format. And this is dictated entirely by the Pokemon Company International. This is the different rule sets that you're going to get throughout the game's lifespan. We've had so many different rule sets. I believe there are 12 in total different rule sets for Pokemon in the VGC format since the launch of Sword and Shield. It has been a very, very fun process going through. Currently, we are in a double restricted Pokemon format where we are allowed to use 2 box legendary Pokemon per team, and it adds a lot of stuff. And this is why I think right now is an excellent time to get into competitive Pokemon, because of the double restricted format. You see a lot of the same teams over and over and over and over, and as a result of this, it's very easy to learn the meta, kind of get a feel for what competitive Pokemon is without too much variation. And I think that makes for a very easy time to get in and actually play competitive Pokemon. I think the double restricted, despite me not being a huge fan of that particular format, is a very good format for beginners to hop in and start playing in. The final rule set that you can get into in at least Sword and Shield is the Battle Stadium Singles, and this is the single battle format. You battle with 3 Pokemon that you choose from a team of 6, and it's the same rules that are in the VGC, so it's the double restricted. I don't know how many people actually participate in the Battle Stadium singles. I've done it a couple times, but I've never been a huge fan of them. So I mainly stick to VGC, that's my bread and butter, but I also do dabble a little bit into the singles, OU, and BDSP. I really enjoy BDSP's format. But the final tip I can give you in terms of just the basics of Pokemon is watching guides for all this stuff. Like I said earlier, this video covers just the basics, but there's the nitty-gritty of each of these individual things that you can watch separate videos for. And I'm not saying you have to watch mine in particular. There's a lot of people out there that play Pokemon a lot better than I do. I play it very casually. I've done very well in some competitions, but I just kind of do this for fun. I enjoy playing Pokemon. I like sharing tips and tricks with everybody. So you can watch my guides. I have in-depth guides on all this stuff, but if you find somebody else more entertaining than me, by all means, go watch them. But watching guides is incredibly important to actually understanding different aspects of the game. It can break down the different things that you need to know in a lot better detail. The second thing, like I said, next up is team building. Team building is huge for getting into competitive Pokemon. The first thing you're going to want to do is learn a meta. Like I said earlier, it is really nice to get into competitive Pokemon right now because we are using restricted Pokemon. You are going to see a lot of the same stuff like Kyogre, Groudon, Calyrex, whether it be Shadow Rider or Ice Rider, Dialga. Those Pokemon are just super popular. Zacian is something you see on damn near every team. It is just a very simple thing to get into right now because there's pretty much the same restricted Pokemon on repeat over and over that you're going to be seeing. So learning the meta is pretty easy because certain legendaries revolve around certain team compositions. The next thing I can tell you to do outside of learning the meta is try out some rental teams. If you've never played before and team building seems a bit daunting to you, a lot of content creators out there like to put their codes up online. Me, for example, I use PokePaste. I paste the team in there and you can copy and paste it into Pokemon Showdown and try the team out for yourself. That is something that's super beneficial because it allows you to look at teams, see what people are using as their strategies, and then you can either, kind of replicate that for your own team or see what they're doing and make your own version of that particular strategy. And it gives you ideas. It helps you brainstorm and as well as try stuff out that already works and learn the game through that. But the thing I highly recommend doing after you have a general understanding of the game is building your own team. The reason I say building your own team is so nice is because it actually helps you understand exactly what's going on. Yes, you can use the rental teams and you can have a decent amount of success, especially if you're someone who already understands the game. But if you're brand new to the game and you're using rental teams, you don't necessarily know the ins and outs of that particular team. You don't know 100% what it's supposed to be doing. You're kind of figuring it out versus if you build your own team, you know exactly what that team is designed to do because you made it. You know exactly what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and that's going to help you actually perform better. Now, in terms of the best tool to getting into this is definitely Pokemon Showdown. I've mentioned it a bunch of times already in this video, but Pokemon Showdown is a fantastic website that you can use to build teams, battle in the VGC 2022 format, and just understand how Pokemon works. This is incredibly important because you can actually build the teams here before making them in game. When I got into competitive Pokemon, I didn't use Pokemon Showdown. So I built an entire team in-game, shiny team for that matter, and it took me hours and hours to make in-game because, the shinies and then actually getting them ready to go for competitive play, and the team didn't work the exact way I wanted it. And because of this, I wasted a lot of time that I could have been using to make a much stronger team. So Pokemon Showdown helps you build that team, get your ideas in place, test it out a bit, make some tweaks and adjustments before applying that to the in-game and taking all that extra time in-game. Finally, you just want to understand what Pokemon work together. Now, when I first got into team building, the best thing I can recommend doing, and this is what I did, was just build your team around one strategy, whether that be weather or whether that be trick room, one certain thing that really makes your team shine. As you get better, you can start working in multiple different things, like based on the comp that you're going up against. You may decide this round I want to take a weather Pokemon, or this turn I want to take a trick room Pokemon. That kind of stuff works really well once you understand the game a bit better. But when you're just getting into it, building your team around one particular thing is something I highly advise because that helps you understand that aspect. And then once you know that and you try a different thing, you can kind of work together to combine the two. Finally, we're going to get into playing the game. Now, Pokemon is an incredibly frustrating game. It is very frustrating from the sense that there's so much RNG going on in the competitive side of things, whether it be status effects like sleep, paralysis, all that fun stuff that, you know, can maybe affect your game, or maybe it has no effect, and you have the status effect but you don't have anything impact you, like paralysis. You could go one turn and get paralyzed, or you could never have it affect you for the rest of the battle. It's just something that can be so frustrating with RNG in terms of like critical hits, stuff like that. There's a lot of RNG here, so from that perspective it can be very frustrating. However, the first tip I have is just learn from your mistakes. This is something that's so huge. Take that frustration and just accept that's part of the game. You're going to get frustrated from playing this. It is a competitive game. That's just the nature of it. But take what happened in that battle. Think about each battle individually and go, what did I do wrong here? What could I have done different that would have led to a separate outcome? And that is super, super important to progressing and bettering yourself, especially right now where you see a lot of the same team compositions over and over. Taking what you did wrong and learning from it will help you then move on into the next battle and beat that same issue next time around. Super important. Next up, practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect in Pokemon, and the more you play, the more you're going to be successful in the game, whether it be through Pokemon Showdown or playing on the actual game. Now, I will say the next tip, don't be afraid to rank. This is super important. So a lot of people like to, you know, avoid ranked because they don't want to see that number drop or whatever the case may be. However, the point of a ranked system is to place you against players of a similar skill set. And if you are losing, that means you need to be playing against easier people because you don't understand a certain aspect of the game. Maybe your team isn't quite right. There's something you could be doing better. That is going to help you get better, especially if you're playing casuals on cart. There is no rule set for casuals. So you're going to see a lot of weird stuff that just wouldn't actually happen in the base, you know, competitive VGC scene. So playing ranked, even if you don't feel super comfortable playing ranked, is going to help you get used to playing against stuff that you are going to see more regularly. It's going to help you adapt to that meta. Super, super key there. So don't be afraid to rank. Your rank does not matter. You're the only person that can see it in the world. So don't be super afraid to hop in and actually just play ranked on cart. Finally, have fun. I think this is the huge thing that people just fail to understand with competitive games, is that they want to win and win and win and win. However, sometimes it's just not going to happen. So you need to, again, take that frustration and set it aside. You're not going to win every battle. It's not how it works. It's just the way it is. Just have fun. A lot of my teams are goofy and they work very situationally. If I was to do a best of 3 battle instead of a best of 1 battle like you do on the cart, my teams usually would not come out on top because I like to play with goofy, gimmicky stuff that is just fun to do. That is just how I play, and it's the most fun for me. So that's the most key thing, is have fun with the teams you're building. If you want to use just meta teams, that's fine, but if you want to try to sprinkle in a little spice Pokemon here and there, that can be fun too. So try different stuff and then just enjoy your time playing the game. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. Like I said, I have tons of other guides if you want to know more details on EVs, IVs, breeding, anything like that for competitive Pokemon. If you want to just see me playing competitive Pokemon, doing all that stuff, it is in the description below. It is on, there's a bunch of playlists on my channel. Check it out if that is something that interests you. But that's all I got. So if you found the video entertaining and helpful, let me know. Leave a comment on what you plan to do for competitive Pokemon. Are you going to get into it here or wait until Scarlet and Violet comes out? I'm very curious as to what people are thinking in terms of that regard, if they are new beginners to competitive Pokemon. But leave a like, subscribe, and until I see you in the next video, peace.